everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Loz. I talk about dogs and mental health. If you're not new here, then you know that already. You're probably sick of me talking about it, but I'm back. Today, I'm going to talk about the benefits of animal companionship on mental health. I have briefly touched over this in my previous videos, but today I'm going to do a little bit of a more comprehensive video for you. So, if you don't know me, I have had depression, anxiety, and borderline personality disorder for 8 years, and in the last year I have cured my depression, and I've just filmed a video on that, so you can go watch that up there. But I still have borderline personality disorder and anxiety. But the most important thing that I did to help myself with my depression and my anxiety and my BPD was to adopt a dog and to engage with animal companionship. And I cannot fathom, I can't believe that it's not common knowledge and it's not included in treatment plans or just talked about more in general or in psychology or in society. Like, the benefits of animal companionship on mental health are so undervalued, just so undervalued, and hopefully today I'm going to teach you some stuff about it so that you can utilize it. So please keep on watching. So before I get into this, I will just confirm with you, yes, what I'm about to tell you is all backed up in studies. I won't be referring to studies in general, specifically, sorry, I'll just be talking in general about what I've learned from reading studies and from talking to my psychologist and from my own experience as well. I guess the defining sentence for the benefits of animal companionship and mental health is that animals provide benefits to mental health through the intensity of the connectivity with their owners or their partners, you might refer it to. The connection that you feel with an animal is very valuable, I guess, when you're somewhat lacking in connectivity with other people. As we all know, you can be surrounded by people and feel lonely. So to be lacking in connection with people doesn't mean that you're lacking in people around you. It might mean that you're lacking in valuable connection and unconditional love. And your animal provides that to you without question. You don't have to ask for it, they just give it. But I want to talk, I guess now that I've given you that kind of summary, I want to talk about the negative consequences of owning an animal first, and then talk about the positive aspect. Some people experience co-occurring positive and negative consequences, while some people experience co-occurring positive and neutral consequences. But I'm just going to talk about the positive and the negative ones today. So I guess some people would feel, and I know that I felt this, negative consequence in a sense of identity and inadequacy. So I know for myself, I went through a period, I was kicked out of home and I was broke and I could barely afford to feed myself, let alone Naga. So there was a point where literally all I could afford to feed her was pasta or rice mixed in with frozen vegetables. I guess the reason why I overcame that is because I knew that she was still having a warm place to sleep every night, was still getting fed every day, and was being loved unconditionally every day. And she was always going to be better off with me than she would have been in an animal shelter. And I think that if you haven't adopted an animal yet, I would definitely recommend that you adopt one from an animal shelter, because if you're ever feeling at risk of being inadequate for your pet, then you can easily debunk that, because you've literally saved their life. They're always going to be better off than you than where they were. So yes, sometimes you might feel like you're not doing enough for them, and you should always do the best for them that you can, but they're still better than they were. Another negative consequence that you may experience is a feeling of being overwhelmed with the responsibility of your pet. I definitely get that. There were times where I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to walk Naga. I didn't want to go anywhere. And she does have some behavioural issues, which I've talked about in my video about separation anxiety in dogs. And there were times where I emotionally couldn't handle it as well as I would have other days. And that was a burden for me. But I pretty quickly forgot about that feeling, because the positivity and love you feel when you have a dog quickly kind of makes you forget about the negative consequences. So it's severely outweighed by the positive consequences. I guess the only other major negative consequence would be that the fear of them dying, and there's no way to get around that. But I posted a video about trust recently, and I talked about dogs in that as well. And as I said in that video, the love and happiness that they bring to you in those 8 to 14, 16 years that you have them is so worth the pain that you feel when you lose them. It's so worth it. And, you know, I've lost a dog, I've lost a cat. I know how it feels to lose them. It's devastating, but I would do it all over again. And I am doing it all over again with Naga and Ollie for the happiness that they bring to my life. Okay, now we've got all that negative stuff out of the way, let's talk about the positive things. So the positive attributes for owning a pet are endless, but I'm just going to talk about the main ones, which are pretty obvious. So enrichment, emotional enrichment. So as I said at the start of this video, the love that you receive from a pet can often be filling the gap where you're lacking love or connection. And it's incredibly fulfilling, and I think you need to experience the love from a pet even if you're not lacking in it, because it's a very different kind of love, and it's a very valuable kind of love that you get from a pet. It's unconditional, and not just the love you get from a pet, but the love you feel for a pet is, I think, different to what you feel for a person, because again, it's unconditional. There's no conditions on your love for a pet. There's no confusion. There's no angst or stress. It's just what it is. It's just love, you know. So there's that. There's also the social connectivity that you can get from owning a pet. Specifically, if you own a dog, you can take them out for walks. You know, people might stop you on the street. If you're not used to talking to people, you don't often get to talk to people. You will have people want to talk to you when you have a dog. If you go to a dog park that's off leash, naturally people will come up to talk to you. They'll want to talk to you about your dog, and you have something to talk about. You don't have to find someone to talk about, because you're there because you love your dog, and that's all the other person usually wants to talk about with you. And in a sense, it can be validating for you as well, because you kind of feel like a nurturer. You kind of feel like a protector of something, and you feel like you're good for something. I know for me, adopting Naga really brought value to my life, in that I felt like I had purpose. I felt like something was tethering me down to the planet, like a responsibility. And it wasn't a hard responsibility. It was one that paid back in every way. It was one that was so totally worth it. So it can help in that sense. And another huge thing is the emotional recognition that you'll get from a pet. Pardon me. Again, with dogs, they can actually be trained to sense chemical changes in your body and smell them. So if, for example, you are prone to having seizures, a dog can actually smell the chemical changes in your body if you're about to have some sort of reactive change, or it can acknowledge the triggers. So if you are shaking on the ground, it'll start to bark. There's a documentary on Netflix called Dogs, which talks a lot about how you can train your dog for health issues as well. But for mental health issues, the dog can actually chemically smell the chemical changes in your body as well, and will comfort you. Aside from that, they naturally want to do that for you anyway, especially if they're people-oriented dogs. I know Naga, if I start crying, she's instantly like trying to get as close to my face as she can and give me kisses, and she's like, "What's wrong, Mum?" And Ollie will start barking at me and crying at me. They both know when something's up and they want to be there for you. When I had a cat, Fergus would sense it as well, and he'd come up to my face and he'd rub up against my face and just settle in with me. And even when I wasn't upset, he just always wanted to be with me. And I know a lot of people don't like cats, but you just have to find the cat that suits your personality. And I really liked a cuddly cat, and he was one. So yeah. Another thing dogs are great for, if you are living alone or if you're socially anxious, the dog is really great for protecting your home. Or if you're going out into society, you can bring the dog with you, and they ground you when you're out. You can actually have your dog certified as a having a mental blank. Okay, so I looked it up. You can actually get your dog certified as a service dog. I don't know why I couldn't remember, but yeah, so they can be a service dog for health issues or for mental health issues as well. They can be certified for anxiety reasons. It does cost money, and you do need to find a dog with the right temperament or have them specifically trained, so it can be quite expensive, which is why I didn't do it. But I was very tempted to just put on a fake jacket on my dogs and pretend that they were certified, but that's illegal, so don't do that. But there's just a wealth of things that dogs can do for you, and not just dogs, like other animals as well. But in the studies that have been conducted, it can be animal specific, breed specific, sex specific. You know, these kind of variables can change the outcomes that you experience, the positive outcomes that you experience. So from my understanding, dogs meet the best, you know, they have the best criteria as I guess a service dog. But in my experience, cats have also been great. Pigs are incredibly intelligent. I don't know how cuddly they are, though I've never had a pig, but pigs are more intelligent than dogs. So if you like pigs, then you can try that as well. Goats and donkeys are really cuddly, but these are kind of animals that you can't bring places with you. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. But if you know, are particularly averted to dogs or cats, but you like animals, you know, you can consider other options. But yeah, so my ambition, as I discussed in my video about why I quit my full-time job and started YouTube, is to start an animal shelter. The only thing that's holding me back right now is money, unfortunately. But when I start that animal shelter, I will be creating a program for mental health as well. It's such a huge goal of mine, and the more and more I post videos on here, and the more and more I talk about it, the more and more it's becoming a passion of mine. And it's always been something I'm passionate about, and I didn't know it could get stronger, but it's definitely getting stronger. So yeah, it's just a matter of money and a bit of time, but I'll get there. So I really want to educate people on the benefits of dogs and mental health, and I think that if there was a little bit more of a community that understood the benefits of animal companionship or mental health, you know, we could create programs where, you know, outreach programs for shelters where people who are fostering dogs, you know, we could have like mental health groups that foster dogs for the sake of their mental health, and it also gives a home to the dogs, you know. There's just so many possibilities and I really want to actualize it. So it's just a matter of time and money, but I'll get there, So yeah, but aside from that, I really hope that you've gotten some valuable information out of today's video. Again, I just cannot recommend it enough. Having animal companionship has been the most important thing to my happiness and to saving my life. and I really hope it is more acknowledged sooner rather than later. But thanks so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope you have a fantastic day or night or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Chicken. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. Hello.